Hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do Squid Games, and that's right, we're doing episode 2, H-E double hockey sticks. Don't say it, kids. So in today's episode, we continue and we find out at the end of the game, out of the 456 players that were playing, 255 were eliminated, and best believe these players found out real quick what it means to be eliminated. They were just not expecting to be killed. K-word. Because I'm not trying to get, So then they decided to use the third clause of the game contract, was the game will be over if a majority of the players decide to quit. And yeah, let's quit. So then they said, let's quit the games. We don't want to do this. We don't want to die. So then the guard said, hold on. Let's see how much money was accumulated after the first game. And it was a lot of money. I didn't get to get the amount, but it was a lot. And it turns out that, people saw the amount, but some felt moved to say, let's just vote. Let's just quit. Let's quit the game. So they did a vote. And once they saw how much money it was, the votes started shifting. People said, you know what? I just might not want to do this. So after voting, it was literally 50-50 on, if we're going to do this or if we're not going to do this. And it turns out at the end, player one, the very old man, he was the determinant voter because everyone was afraid that he was going to say yes or no. Because Sungwoo, after seeing the amount, and Sungwoo was going through it. So he needed the money. Even though he and Sungwoo and Gi-hoon decided let's quit. Sungwoo was the moving factor. He said, we got to quit this. Third factor, hello. So then Gi-hoon was like, yeah, let's do it. And then once he saw the amount, Sungwoo actually said, no, let's keep playing. Which shocked Gi-hoon. But it was 50-50. They just needed one vote to shift the vote. And it was player one. He was a very old man, and his dementia, poor man. We found out he has dementia later, but he hit the center. He hit the center button. He didn't hit the left or the right. He hit the center button. And then that's when the guards were pick yes or no. And then he picked no. He wanted to say yes, but he picked no. So therefore, the games are over. So then they told everyone, game's over. Majority won. So they decided to end the game. So the games ended. And they smoke gassed everyone, drop them off at random locations in their underwear. And then we followed the story with Gi-hoon. They dropped off Gi-hoon and the pickpocketer. As he was trying to get off, the pickpocketer was like, for you to be free, make me free. So he ripped off her bondage, and then she got free, put on her clothes, and he says, what about me? And she says, why would I help you? Because if I help you, you're going to ask me for your money. And I was like, okay, come on, pickpocketer. Let him know. So then he said, no, I'm going to change. I'm not going to do that. You make me free. I'm going to forget about the money. And then she says, you sure? He says, I promise. Sets him free. And he didn't even put his clothes on. He literally starts yelling and cursing at her, telling her to give him his money. And then she literally just paid him no mind. And it was just like, sir, if she had your money, she wouldn't be there. Because everyone at the games was there due to having debt or needing money. So then Gi-hoon put on his clothes, and the first thing he does, alerts the police. He goes to the police station, tells them everything about the games. And then the one police guard did not believe anything he was saying. He thought he was delusional and saying, oh, so you mean to tell me you went to this game, they killed people, and then you say you don't want to play, so they let you go. In hindsight, it sounds crazy because you'll think if they killed you, they would not let you go. But people were there for their own free will. It's just unfortunate they were being K-worded per game. So, yes. So then Gi-hoon was like, yes, that's exactly what happened. That's why I'm here. They let me free. And then the cop was like, boy, I don't believe you. And then he gave the guy the phone number and says, this is the business card, and this is the business card. Call it. You'll get to them. So the cop calls them. A lady answers. And then he goes, hey, I'm here to participate in a game. And then the lady was like, you want to play in a game? You want to play games? All right, you playing games on my phone right now. You quit playing, little pervert. And then she starts screaming, cursing, saying she'll get the police on him. And I was like, the irony. When the police call you, and you tell the police and call the police on them. Gold. So then the cop hung up, and then he looked at Gi-hun and was like, you playing on my life now. And then it turns out that the cop dialed the wrong number because Gi-hun left the station and told them, I'm going to call the number and I will want you guys to hear who's on the line. So Gi-hun calls the number, unavailable. It was unavailable. So it started looking real fishy. Like, what is going on here? Like, you say there's a number. It was unavailable. So then we get to the point where Gi-hun is now with his mom, and he sees that she's limping and that she has severe foot pain, and then they're in a hospital. This scene was not much. They were in a hospital, and Gi-hun's mom, she needs amputation because if not, she's just going to be in severe pain. So Gi-hun, then it gives him another motivation to want money, because not only to provide financial stability, he needs money to like make sure his mom could get an amputation. So then now we know that Gi-hun has a new motivation. And in this episode, we get a little backstory of other characters. So then we get to the character, the one guy who saves Gi-hun. We found out his name is Ali. And then he went to his boss because he demands all the wages for work that he did and didn't get paid. And the boss looked at him and said no. And said that he was busy as he was playing solitaire on his computer. When I tell you, capitalism is ugly. It really is, because Ollie just wanted his wages. Like, it turns out Ollie was working for free. He was a contract worker in Korea, and they just took advantage of him. And because he needed, like, support for his family, he just, like, took the abuse because they were giving him housing. But it was unfortunate because it was bad. It was really bad. So he needed the money, and they said no. He looked at him and said no. And then there was an envelope of a lot of cash in there. And then Ollie said, he looked at it. The man looked at it. He took it, put it in his pocket, and says, we're short on cash. I can't help you, my friend. But get back to work. I'll see you on work on Monday. Gets up, walks around, and tries to leave. And Ollie keeps begging and pleading for money. He kept saying he needs the money. He needs to support his family. And the guy kept saying, we have no money. So then he, like, hits Ollie off. And then Ollie grabs him. And they started tussling. And then that's when he was tussling. And then the boss, he tried to reach out. And it got caught in the machine. His hand got caught in the machine. He drops the envelope, and his hand's being shredded to pieces. And then Ollie takes the envelope and he skedaddle. He the Pokemon escaping. And then that was Ollie's scene. And then we get to the scene where Sangwoo is avoiding the feds. I wonder why. It reminds me of this one. I feel like if I share this story, it'll let you guys know what school I went to. But then again, you guys have my YouTube, and my YouTube has all my information. Anyways, there's a professor in my school in the physics department, and he was just like Sangwoo, and he went to a top Chinese university. It was not Korean. He went to a Chinese university, and he embezzled money from the Chinese government and the U.S. government for this research project. And he was just living his life. And then when the government got involved, the FBI got involved. I remember he was on the episode of Most Wanted. He was the most non-violent criminal on there. He was literally a physics professor at our school. And he was on Most Wanted because he embezzled money from both governments, the Chinese and the American government. Because at first, the American government thought he was embezzling money to the Chinese government. And then the Chinese government released the documents. They thought he was embezzling money to the American government when he was just embezzling from both fields for his pocket. And it was crazy because I wasn't even taking physics at that time, but he would have been my professor. It was crazy because I had people who had him, and it was midterms, and then they just had to modify the class because he was on the run. I have friends who said our professor just stopped going to class, and I was like, do y'all not watch the news? It's he's on America's Most Wanted. He was running from the feds. I want to know if they ever caught him. Look it up. Physics professor, embezzling money. And you're going to find out all the information. So Sangwoo was running from the feds. And it turns out because the feds were looking for him. And the feds went to Sungwoo's mom's little shop, her little fish cake shop. Cute. It was cute. And his mom was gassing him up. She was like, yeah, my son's so cool. He's so handsome. He's so smart. He goes through everything. He went to SNU. What about you? And then the lady was like, oh, your son is handsome. How old is he? She goes, she didn't even answer how old he was. She said, how old is he? Can't sum up. She said he has high standards. And I said, I'm sure he do. I'm sure he do, ma'am. Because that embezzling and fraud is even higher. So then the feds barged in as the lady sitting here, like the customer was looking at Sungwoo's mom, and then his mom was like, oh, they go, oh, do you know Sungwoo? She goes, yes, that is my son. Sungwoo's mom, I'ma need you to not be so proud of your son. And if the police came at my door asking, are you da-da-da son or mom died, I would have sat there and go, no. Who's asking? But I'll help. And I'll snitch. I'll tell you every detail, but not my relation to that suspect. But she said, yeah, that's my son. I'm happy he's my son. So then the cop was like, FBI. He's running from the feds. I know she looks stupid because the other lady who's trying to set him up with someone or who knows, she just sat there and go, Mr. SNU, what about you? So then we get to that. Then we get to the scene where Gi-hoon then goes to his ex-wife asking for money. Now, it was cute because I thought he was asking for money basically just for a living, but he mentioned how his mom is having feet problems and he needs surgery. And it was crazy because, like, yeah, that's his ex-wife, but, like, man, that was your mother-in-law at one point. At one point, you was calling that lady a muchie. Like, come on. Like, so she goes like, no, point blank to the motherfucking period. No, go kick rocks with that. And then that's when he goes, I really need the money. And then she said, no, get out before my husband finds you. But then the family came. Turns out she has a new son with a new husband. And then son just ignored Gi-hoon because that's not his kid. He goes, Amma! Runs to the mom. She goes, oh, hey, how's school? And the daughter sees her dad and go, Appa. And then he goes, Ga-young, hey girl, how's it going? I came to see my daughter, but I saw her, now I gotta leave. And it was real shady. So then the new husband was like, oh, well, you could come and stay. Like, I'm over here thinking the new husband trying to be the bigger person, saying like, oh, come stay, come eat, come do something, you know, see your daughter. And as Gi-hoon was leaving, he forgets his umbrella. And that's when the new husband took that umbrella, went outside, and he said, Gi-hoon. And he was like, here's some money. He gave it to Gi-hoon. And then while holding his umbrella, and he gave him the money, and he says, thank you, I'll pay you back. Don't worry. And he was like, oh, don't worry. Don't pay me back. And he goes, oh, okay. And he was like, just don't come back and see your family. And I was like, now, mister, why would you say such a thing? And then he was like, excuse me? And he was like, yeah, because we're going to the U.S. and your daughter is just having trouble with assimilating and, you know, getting used to me being her stepdad. So I'm going to need you to stay out of the picture. And then Gi-hoon, he just knocked him out. He literally just punched him because there's nothing you can say. So he punches him, knocks him out. And then as soon he knocks him out, then you see Ga-young. And she just sat there and go, bah. And I'm like, girl, I want that girl's job. She got the easiest job because her lines were literally that. And look distressed. Be young and distressed. Child, that's mean. And then that's when Gi-hoon left. And then next thing you know it, he wanted to go back to the games. And as he was contemplating going back to the games, we get a quick flashback of all the other characters deciding to go back to the games. And the episode ends there. And yeah, they just went back and the games began again. I'm going to rate this episode. I'm going to rate it a C+. It was boring. It was really boring. Like, I feel like I talked too soon saying, oh, the pilot didn't talk about the background. They went straight to it. Pew, pew, pew. Lo and behold, the writer said, pew, pew, pew at me. And we found out it was boring. It was boring. C+. Let me know. Drop a comment down below. And just what do you think is gonna happen next? Like, what do you think the next game's gonna be? Again, no spoilers. Matter of fact, drop spoilers. You guys, I've learned you like my subscribers. You guys have PhDs because you guys, when y'all spoil, y'all don't spoil. You actually give me an abundance of information. So you know what? Spoilers and all, but please put asterisk spoilers before you put it, so then other subscribers can know like not to click on it, even though we're nosy and we be in everybody's business. So drop a comment, let me know you stopped by, and take care.